All right, guys, Wednesday evening, 6 o'clock, ready to not rock and roll, but deflect, disable, and disarm. It's the fourth session of our firearms threats. And a quick recap first, but then today, Hedy has equipped herself with a very nice looking firearm. That's orange for a reason, so not to play around with real guns. What we have discovered so far is the thing that what in any situation where we need to do is to be able to deflect the gun, then disable the person, and then eventually disarm. There was this very sad event in States a weekend or a week ago in Colorado Springs in a nightclub. Now as they've cleared the situation up a bit, there was a heroic guy, a war veteran, who actually did the disabling the person. And it is still unsure whether he took the gun from the person's hand or from the holster, but the thing that eventually happened is that he beat up the assailant so that this could not continue the attack. And there were, people dying and so on. And what he said, he didn't know what he was doing. He just went into a fight mode and just finished the person. And that's the spirit. That's the idea of the thing. Another part, what we have handled so far, is the thing that, if you take the gun out, please, understanding that from a distance like this, there is very little I can do. Of course, I can make her to flinch and somehow and get over here to close the distance if that's the last thing that you have in your resort. But the thing is that trying to make yourself a very vague target and go into the punching and beating the living smith out of the person. That's the case, of course, what to do. Another part that we see very regularly, and even in settings like Krav Maga, we see that people are doing like let's do it so. She's sort of like threatening Bob here, and I am doing stuff like this, and then I'm going into beating mode like this. Well, this is a very nice if you have sore shoulders, but there is nothing that I can do to her to make her stop her attack. And then the person with the gun is just, being there. No, not to be the active attacker. That would be just too much here. And people are seriously training like this. That really makes me angry. Because the thing is that in a situation like this, yes, get hold of the gun, yes, beat the person so that they will not continue. But your target is not the shoulders, your target is the neck, it's the back of the head, you need to hurt the person. So because training like this for a life-threatening situation where you go in slow and you do stuff like that and then you start to reach for the gun. And if we switch parts, I am doing this, and she's doing that, and she's doing that, and now she's reaching for the gun. She cannot even reach the gun. This is what we call, stupid training. It's not fake, it's just stupid. Okay? So never to train like that. So thinking of the situations like this, you get into from the side position. We did this last time, thinking that, hey, I am doing this, I am attacking. I just punch her a bit to get that reaction from her. I did not really hurt her yet, but it was effective enough just to show you to understanding that what an attack like this means when you are attacking the correct places and positions. All right, so hit where it hurts. And now from the point of the gun, whether it's a short one or it's a longer one, it doesn't really matter. The thing is that, yes, now there may be people there, Now my only option is to get the gun pointing upwards, that's the deflection. And then I am attacking, and that's the disabling. And all of a sudden, here's the disarm. I was left with the gun. Okay, so those are all in the earlier sessions of our firearms masterclasses. So go check those out, and then when you go into training these things, you understand more properly what to do. One thing that is very important in training with weapons, when the weapon is out and you are going by the principles, but then you have to have just point the weapon out. You have to have the hand and eye coordination, okay? If I am all the time doing stuff like this, that I am missing the gun, there is no point for me to even try to grab it. So at first, try to grab the wrist and go here, because over here you can actually start doing something. And not the ones that we have like in the YouTube where we are doing, oh, I have to be here, and then I'm like, half a meter away from the person. Now, very aggressive hissing. But no results. But eye and hand coordination is very important part. And you can train this by just, throwing like ball and, catching it and catching it and catching it. That's one of the skill acquisition exercises that we do. All right, but let's move on to today's program. And today's program is that if you have the gun there, and now she's the one with the gun, and I try to grab it, okay? I know she has the gun and I try to go for it. Basic self-defense. What she was doing was actually moving out from the line of fire and punching. Now she was punching me with a palm to my throat. She might as well just, punch me, move out and punch me. And that was the end of my attack. So, what if I come from the side? I go to here, she turns and hits me. So, what she does with the other hand is that if my hand comes here, let's say that I am here, I'm trying to pull the gun away, and you just hit with the elbow backwards. And now as I continue doing, I am facing her fist. What will be her next move? Once she gets here, I try to get the hold of the gun, she hits me. Now she's getting the gun out. And now, a very important point. Once you get the gun out, be ready to use it. And being ready to use the weapon, you have to understand what is there behind me. Perhaps there are people behind me. And if she's pointing the gun at me, she needs to be sure of not hitting the people behind me. So, this is the point of decision that you have to make, whether you're going to use the gun or not. Because she might as well, once she has the distance of there, I went from here, I tried to grab the gun, she punched me, I'm here, kicked me, and like this. And now she can get away. She can warn others, hey, this guy had tried to get my gun. Techniques are very simple. So, somebody tries to grab the weapon from you. Hit down with your hand, close it. Now, what is happening here is actually, let's turn a bit more, it's actually a wrist lock. I cannot move my hand very easily. If I'm moving my hand, I'm moving her. And as she comes in, bad balance situation, and punch. That's it. All you need to do. All you need to do. Not trying to go and save the gun with both of her hands, because then I am punching her. And then I'm just taking the gun. So every time, now, it's not about deflection, it's about protecting your possession. whether it's a weapon, whether it's a purse or whatever, and then attacking the person who is trying to get it away from you. That's it. Now, if I somehow manage to get the gun from her, now she goes back to the mode of a weapons release. I am here. So now she needs to defend, not to get scared, not to get away. Just blocking, getting in there, and kicking and hitting. And these are very important factors to practice. Now we are practically in a situation where we started from in a session 1, okay? Now we only started from here, and of course, if she had a safety holster, it would be much harder for me to do this, but now she decided to go with the open one, or perhaps I just decided so this would be easier for me. But thinking that, hey, I am getting hold of the weapon, I am doing this, and now she has one hand here, okay, using her head correctly, that's nice. And then going into deflect, disable, and disarm. All right? Now, playing around with this idea. She might be walking around. We might have 2 or 3 other people around, somebody asking for a time, and then I come in and I try to do this, and once she sees that I'm doing this, just go for it. Thinking of pushing, gun away, hitting, and just eventually this will happen. Now, it's very important to train in a slow pace to get understanding of, okay, what all is happening here. Now as she's doing that, and now pull your hand away. To do this, I can try to wrestle, but every time I get punched in the face, it makes my wrestling a bit harder. When you go into more of a full speed mode with this one, then you need to have helmets, you need to have neck guards, and then she needs to have some sort of gloves to protect her hands, because she will be beating to maybe a helmet with some plastic on it or something like that to protect my eyes. So these are the things that need to be taken care of there. That's the safety in training. And we can do this from different positions. I can start doing like this. Now she will kick me. So using the basic self-defense techniques is very important for anybody who has a firearm. Okay? Then, another situation is so that, if I can have the gun. So now, the situation is so that I came here, hey, give me this and give me that, and she does the defense of this, and now she's with the firearm. And now we see very often people doing all sorts of, tap and crack and load and pointing the gun. And if it happens, let's do it vice versa. So you have the gun. I'm doing the defense. Now I'm doing with this arm here. So I'm doing the defense. I'm going in here. And then I'm doing all these fancy motions. Understanding where to do that and when to do that. Because the thing is that if I manage to get the firearm away from her, I said I made the deflect, I made the disabling, I did this, and I am here, and now she's back in the game. I was not cleared. I was not far away enough to start actually using that weapon. All right? So that's why it's important to also understand how to use this weapon as a blunt object, actually to hit with it. And now, using the barrel of the weapon in a way of a straight punch or hammer punch, but always so that the barrel is towards the assailant. So if I was here, to doing this, doing punches here and that. So also train that part. So the exercise for this could be like that. So once I get the point of the gun doing this and doing that, she attacks, the gun is released, and now I'm coming to her. And now she's just going into hitting with it. And now if we take a bit of bob here to help us in target practice. So now, thinking that you go into hitting bob here, thinking of this. And now it's very important how you hold the weapon. Exactly. Weapon needs to be here. If you are holding it like this, and I hit the bob. Now all of a sudden, it slips out of my hand. The same thing as, if you think that you are in a situation that you should be able to use a knife or something to stab with, you need to place it very much towards the palm of your hand so you will not get sliced yourself. Okay? Now when you are doing the training, let's recap. Punching with the weapon, very much the same as you would be punching with hand. Thinking of this. I don't recommend to do a lot of punching with the clip because you never know what sort of weapon you have in your hand, because even this might just set it off, and then the danger part is pointing towards you, so you are not in a good place. Okay? So that's not smart to do. Then, from the point of view of protecting the gun, so just put the gun in the holster. Thinking of exercises, basically somebody comes and grabs it, tries to hit you, and now you have few problems. So once this, okay, and then keep on going. I was not happy with that. Yeah, just keep on going. Yes, good. So doing work like this, it's very important. Also trying to turn. So I'm doing this. And keep on punching. Yes, good. And protect the gun. Try to get the gun away so that you turn enough. All right? Again, very important exercise. Change angles. So I come from here and I try to grab the gun. You protect the gun and you keep on attacking. So basically what you're doing is attacking one-handed, going in, protecting the gun, using your legs, using your hands to make it impossible for the person to actually get hold of the weapon. This is very, very, very simple. But if you never train this, the thing is that you've never trained that somebody trying to get hold of the gun and doing this. And now all of a sudden, you are in a situation that, okay, what I'm going to do? And then she does something. I am moving. She turns away. I'm moving. I am moving and getting away. Well, that's it for the short weapons. Now, if we go and do some training with longer weapons. So now if you have the longer weapon in your hand, come a bit closer. So now, I end up trying to grab the weapon. And if I'm doing it like it seems close to 100% of the internet is saying to you, doing stuff like this, of course, that's it. Just using a basic principle of hand release. Okay, I grab the weapon here, she makes the hand release motion. The same motion. If I somehow manage to get the gun away from her, I'm here. Now she needs to go into attack mode. And again, come in and hit. All right? Now let's do it with contact hitting, okay? So the thing is that we go from here, I did this, and release, okay? Now, every time you do contact drilling, of course, it's important that for me, her to hit me, and even punch a bit hard, it doesn't matter for me because I am trained to do that. I'm trained and I'm used to that. But then if you're training with a partner who's not used to that, wear helmets and stuff. But we can do this even we can do this even slower. We can do this slower in a motion that, okay, I am doing this, I am doing this, I am here, and now she's in the motion of doing this. Because landing the punch is very important. And then, of course, with helmets and so on, you can do it much, much faster. Now, in a situation that somebody comes from behind and starts to do something like this to you. Now, thinking what you have here, you need to protect the weapon. But now, she has her elbow here. She can use the elbow to punch me. Face. And what does this remind you from? Now there's only one thing more to this equation, and that's the gun. I'm trying to get the gun. I could not get to the gun. She has stronger hold and she's punching me. So all of these exercises are all about the imagination that you have and what you can do with that. But the basic solutions are always the things that are there, like in the very, very early stages of your self-defense training. And of course, if you are thinking in a situation like this that, hey, I cannot use the gun, now I have the gun. So now, grab the gun close to you, right? And then just keep on punching me. So, in skill acquisition, what we are doing here is that the gun here is actually a constraint. It is something, an obstacle for you to go by, thinking that, all right, now there was the weapon hold here, and now you need to go with the elbow. This is just something to make you distracted of what you were supposed to do. Okay? But it should not stop you from disabling the person. Even if you are in a situation like this, yes. And then using the weapon as a blunt object. All right, so this is going to be a very, very short masterclass because things are very, very simple. But They need to be trained. They need to be trained in a manner. You have to innovate. You have to think of a situation of how would I go into disarming. I try to do the disarming. I try to do it slowly but steadily. Okay, I'm here. I try to do the disarming, and now she's not having any of it. Yes, yes. And this is the pace. You start to see sort of like openings, what they call in invitations to act. She sees the invitation to kick me to the knee. She sees the kick me to the groin. She sees the thing that, okay, she can pull the gun away while she's doing that and hit me. What this does in our brain is that it creates new models for us to work. And remember, these are the situations where Krav Maga was originated. People trying to, get to your gun, you had a long firearm, and you ended up in the situations that you could not shoot. So this is not brain surgery, okay? So let's not make it such. The thing is that I must not get the weapon no matter what I do. And she will continue fighting until I am done, not so that she's done. All right, people. Next week, we will have the last session of the firearms threats. And in that last session, we are dealing with the situations so that if she has the gun and I see her going for it, what I'm going to do before that. And now if we end up here, for me being a bigger and heavier here, it's quite easy for me to do. But then we'll change the roles. And it will not be so easy for her to do as for me in this case. All right, guys. Train safe. Have fun training. And we have plenty of these videos already in the platform. So do visit them and check them out. And with all the weapons, the eye and hand coordination, and with all self-defense, eye and hand coordination is the key ingredient of your skill training. So do that. Throwing with balls, stuff like that, very important. All right, see you next week.